Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Tuesday, the 21st day of March, 2023. It is the 24th day of Lent, Tuesday of the fourth week of Lent. Back in Raleigh, North Carolina, we left the haze and the gloom of San Diego, and now it's the sunny blue skies here in North Carolina. It is a bit chilly today. It is the first day of spring, the first full day of spring, and so we are reveling in the wonder and beauty of spring. Although it's a very cool morning, it's going to be 86 on Friday, so it's just ridiculous. So, coming to you from the little peace garden that we have over here in front of one of the doors to Juniper Hall, where our first grade in our kindergarten are. But in the far distance, you can probably hear them working on it, we have a new picnic grounds going in to the side of Jacobo Hall, our cafeteria, to have a better place for, in particular, our 8th graders who get the privilege of eating outside for lunch. We'll have a nicer place to eat outside for lunch. So on this Tuesday of the fourth week of Lent, this 24th day of Lent, we hear from the prophet Ezekiel. So after we left St. Joseph's and had to preempt Monday of the fourth week of Lent to celebrate St. Joseph, back in the Lenten readings again, Ezekiel, and the great vision of water that flows out of the temple, that becomes from a trickle to a rushing stream, that offers verdant pastures and fruit trees and things to allow Israel to thrive. Again, the connection between what is worship and what is life is that from worship of God comes life. Not obligations, not duties, not burdens, not oppression, not fear, not judgment, not exile, not those kinds of things like that. What comes when one follows the will of God, when one understands the will of God, is nothing but life. Is the fullness of life, is the hope that life gives us. And Ezekiel is given a vision of that kind of life in this metaphor of the stream that becomes a rushing river that is able to make fruitful the land. Again, in the same way, again, that God's word that we hear during this season of Lent is to make our lives fruitful and help us remember, again, that ours is an existence, that ours is a way of life that allows for life to come to its fullness. And the fullness in the here and now. What Ezekiel is seeing is not some future of a heavenly afterlife, but of the present age, the present time in which he lives, when the Israelites are brought back from exile, that they would be able to experience life and wholeness and wonder and beauty because of how God enriches and nourishes their life. In John's Gospel, again, we've moved primarily now to hearing most of our Gospels from John's Gospel, because here's where the rising tensions between Jesus and the Pharisees begin to be narrated and laid out. And so here we have one of these episodes where a man by the pool of Siloam, where an angel stirs the water and heals people, is unable to get into the pool, or unable to be healed. And Jesus basically asks him, "Do you want to be healed?" And he says yes. And again, the Pharisees begin to balk at this because it is a Sabbath and no one is supposed to do any work. And again, we have the same problem again and again with, unfortunately, Jewish leadership at Jesus' time, where there is more care to uphold the law, to protect God from himself, to protect people, from the God. And again, we have many people in our church today who want to protect the church from itself, who feel as though laws and regulations and codes and things like that are much more important than the lives of the human beings that are involved within them. Jesus pays no mind to the Pharisees' objections to what he's talking about doing on the Sabbath, and he heals the man. Again, a similar image that you see in some of the synoptics about the man picking up his mat and walking. And so he does so, and the Pharisees become furious at this because Jesus is, unfortunately showing how empty and how unimportant, again, are some of these rules and regulations when it comes to the lives of human beings that are involved in them. Our life is what is important. Rules and regulations may help us to have a framework out of which to operate, but they can never become more important than us. Lent is meant to show us that. What it is that we experience, what we go through, how we understand Lent is not about burdening ourselves with sins and our brokenness and our failures, but finding out where there is a God who refreshes and renews our lives and gives us a life that allows for flourishing, that allows for hope, that allows for wonder, that allows for peace. And may the Lord give you